Welcome to another Star Rail DPS Showdown. Allow me to introduce our first combatant today, former lead animator and everyone's favorite dad, Welt. My Welt's got a solid 70-142 crit ratio, rocking Incessant Rain. He's got 888 talents and running 4-piece banditry with 2-piece rudolence, crit rate body, speed boots, imaginary orb, and attack percent rope. He is E1. His opponent today will be none other than the young Cloud Knight Lieutenant and fellow standard 5-star, Yanqing. Yanqing's got almost a 50-200 crit ratio, but for him this is pretty much capped out with Zila's Light Cone, 888 talents as well, 4-piece ice with 2-piece Sal Soto, crit damage body, speed boots, ice orb, and attack percent rope. He's also E1. Today's battlefield will be Memory of Chaos 10's second half. What you're seeing here is the team that I used to clear the first half just so we have a 30 cycle start. I did 10 attempts for each, and the winner will be decided by whoever clears in the least amount of cycles. They'll be using the same teams, and I did try with different supports and builds, but these produce the best results. I'll do my best to explain everything during the runs. Support builds will be shown at the end with some fun stats since we do have the DPS meter today, but real quick, if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. With that, let's get on with the show. Yes, that's right, I even included Pela's technique damage. Actually though, one of the questions I want to answer today is how much damage a sub DPS Pela would do. We're not sacrificing any supportive functionality on her since she's still running tutorial with speed boots, ER rope on fleet, but she should still output a decent amount of damage. She'll definitely do more with the Welt team since his ult applies vulnerability, as well as Incessant Rain applying an additional one on a random enemy hit. Both Welt and Yanqing are often overlooked for damage dealers. I guess it's cause they're standard 5-stars, but they actually have some really cool interactions that I want to show. Not only do we have Tingyun, but we also have Huohuo, so this is a nice showcase for her. Unfortunately, we are going to miss the 0 cycle here on the first wave. It is possible, and I have tried it if I give Welt enough speed, but it's not worth it, and we want to make sure he and Pela have their ults ready to go for the bug on the second wave. That being said, 1 cycle to clear the first wave for Welt is pretty respectable. Yanqing is a single target character, but we can use different strategies to get around that. Welt kind of works in the same way, where his skill does bounce damage. But where Yanqing really shines is priority single target, which you're seeing on screen right now. When there are multiple targets, Welt can't really do this since of course his skill's a bounce, so you can't really choose who it hits. His ult though is AoE, and that does help him since his talent also triggers whenever it hits a slow target. But never mind that, let's talk about Yanqing since we are on his side. Pela is actually a really clutch support because not only does she have her E4, which lowers the ice resistance of an enemy by 12%, she also contributes a lot to ice toughness break thanks to her ult. So while Welt has his imprisons, Yanqing and Pela have freezes, which really increases survivability of both these teams. Now, a little less impactful, Yanqing's E1 does let him do a little bit extra damage to frozen targets, so there is that amount. But yeah, both these teams are very synergistic, and you're about to see Yanqing go for a finish. Can he get the 0 cycle on the first wave? We need his talent, and we got it. We are back on Welt's side. Now let's talk about Incessant Rain and why that's the best pick for this team. He actually needs to have enough EHR so he can land the vulnerability on his ult, but more importantly the imprison for this interaction specifically. The Swarm was about to take its second action consecutively, but we actually cut into it with Welt's ult, imprisoning it and sending it back. Again, this is really great for survivability because you're reducing the amount of damage it can do to you, and that's why it's important for us to save our ult for the bug specifically. The amount of effect hit rate you need for a 100% base chance debuff to land on a 40% effect res enemy is around 67%. You can see why this is a problem, because we really don't want to be building Welt for EHR. We want him to do as much damage as possible, so Incessant Rain really helps with that. Between the subsets I already have, Incessant Rain and Pela's A4, we actually have around 50% effect hit rate, which is good enough to pretty much guarantee it almost every time. It also gives us really good uptime on 4-piece banditry, which is really nice because it's 20% more crit damage. Always good to have that. But you can see here, when there's only one target left, Welt can absolutely nuke enemies because all the bounces hit a single target. We're almost done here though, so we're going to gear up skill points and energy for the second phase. One problem I did notice when I did these runs, for both Welt and Yanqing, is sometimes it was hard to take down the bugs, but it's always worth doing it to stack the vulnerability. The extra 30k or so from a bug exploding is also pretty nice, but we're not going to track that since it's not from our characters, of course. You can tell that we're pretty much never in danger of dying here, especially with Tingyun and Huohuo helping the team's energy cycling. We pretty much control and own the battlefield. With that in mind, you actually saw us get attacked by that bug because of an unlucky non-crit from Pela. Tingyun didn't crit, Huohuo didn't take it out. You're going to see something even more unfortunate. I thought the bounce would at least hit it one time. Nope, that thing survived and hit us twice. Sometimes these things happen and it is okay. We have 2 bugs, actually we have 3 that are really low, and we're going to be able to pop them all with a Pela ult here. We've got so much vulnerability stacked, as well as the defense shred, and of course the extra damage from the bugs exploding. Look at that. Pela definitely contributes a good amount of damage if you just look at the DPS meter here, though keep in mind it is a bit inflated thanks to the memory turbulence buff, giving ults and follow-up attacks an extra instance of aftertaste damage. We are already in our 3rd cycle though, which is still pretty good. Tingyun, if she gets her ult, will be able to advance us with Dance Dance Dance, and it does happen. You can see Welt jump up before the cycle ends, and he should get one last shot. Hopefully this is enough. If I wanted to be extra safe about it as well, I could have saved Pela's ult for after I used Welt's ult. This way the Pela ult would hit with the vulnerability debuffs applied from his ult and Incessant Rain, but it doesn't matter. This last hit is enough, and we get a respectable 3-cycle clear from Welt. Alright, Yanqing, the single target specialist. Let's see how he deals with these bugs. Unfortunately, we're going to have to basic and not refresh Benediction on Tingyun. Otherwise, Yanqing would be using a basic instead of a skill. Now, one question you might be asking, why am I not using a shielder with Yanqing? Huohuo just provides way more value as a soul sustainer. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have soul steal sync up 100% of the time, he's still going to get it when it matters. Also, again, you saw my unfortunate luck with the bugs. When he did skill there, he didn't get his follow attack, so it didn't take it out. And then he has to get hit by this guaranteed AoE, so he does lose his talent. My strategy here is to whittle away at the bugs as much as possible. This way when they explode each other, and then apply the big vulnerability all at once. You can see in these moments, Huohuo is super clutch, topping off Tingyun and Pela here. So literally outside of action, we get a Pela ult, does damage, applies defense shred, exploding all these bugs, applying vulnerability. Tingyun, because her ult's full now, can refill Yanqing to full, and then action advance everyone because of Dance Dance Dance. Just absolutely insane. Whenever we have a skill point available, we want to skill with Pela to apply that res down, as well as doing some more damage. We did complete our mission of taking down a few bugs and applying, let's see, about to be 3 stacks before our big nuke. We do land the freeze with the follow-up attack, and in that sequence we did about 300k damage. Even though there are a lot of buffs and debuffs, it's still really impressive considering this is MOC 10, and Yanqing and Welt are both only at 888 talents, level 70 out of 80 as well. They're probably missing a good 20% of their damage potential if you just get them to 10, 10, 10, level 80, and all the minor traces as well. Also, when you factor in the defense modifier, your character level against the enemies, it'd be more like a 25 to 30% increase in real output. But anyway, back to the fight. We are about to hit the Swarm Onslaught. One thing you did notice about this run versus a Welt one, we're actually going to be hit by this. In the Welt one, we slowed their actions, or actually we stopped them from moving entirely, to where we didn't even need to get hit by one, or this exploding bug. Ironically, or unironically, Tingyun's low enough that we actually get the cleanse on her, which is kind of clutch. But come on, we're just barely missing on all these bugs. Just doesn't have enough to take it out. That's okay, we advance everyone forward here. We're going to be able to get one last shot before we have to take a hit. We have to take out as many of these as we can, especially this one on the right. If we don't do that, we have a very squishy team. Like, none of these characters are built tanky. Yanqing's a hunt character, not really going to be able to eat a hit. Pela, DPS build. Tingyun, attack build. Huohuo is the only one that's got a bit of bulk, but yeah, no damage reduction here. All offense, Yanqing, big ult, and it's time to eat this hit. Thank God this isn't Swarm 5, otherwise there's no way we'd survive. Also, I saved Pela's ult just so I can get that Divine Provision in case she got low, but I didn't press it fast enough when she got hit, or actually before she got hit. It's okay though, she did survive even after getting hit twice. Thankfully, Huohuo is still a 5-star abundance character, so we can heal up pretty quick. Also notice that Yanqing has also surpassed the 1 million damage milestone, the same as Welt. We do have a bit of HP left, and we should be able to finish it off within the cycle, hopefully. Taking this out will increase the vulnerability stacks to 4. We're going to be smart with Pela here. We're trying to think if we want to chip away at any of these, but we can just skill on the Trusting more damage and apply that res down. There is one problem. Tingyun's Dance 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 will just advance Yanqing under the new cycle. He won't get a turn until after this one passes, but it's okay. We have Huohuo. In the very last action, Huohuo ult. Yanqing gets refilled just enough, and we can press it. Will this be enough? The answer is an astounding yes. Well, Welt, we have a winner. After all the losses he suffered, Yanqing finally has a victory. He cleared it in 2 cycles compared to Welt's 3, and honestly, this was a very hard-fought battle. Memory of Chaos 10 second half is no joke, and I'm quite proud of both of these standard 5 stars. Welt was my first 5-star ever in this game, so he does have a special place in my heart. Anyway, he's definitely happy for Yanqing. Let's give him a big round of applause. Looking at Welt's damage distribution, it's kind of surprising, but at the same time expected. Pela did contribute a good amount of damage, Welt doing the majority. Again, take this with a big grain of salt because the memory turbulence does inflate their numbers a little bit. But at the same time, there's no such thing as an MOC without a turbulence buff, at least not to my knowledge, so no matter what, characters are gonna get buffed. Anyway, Yanqing's team had a similar damage distribution. As expected though, his is a little more higher than Welt's. But in the end, doesn't look like being locked in a single target hindered our Cloud Knight Lieutenant that much. Well, that pretty much concludes this DPS showdown. We'll get to the support builds in a second. By the way, let me know what you think of the video. Do you like the DPS meter? Am I talking too much? I feel like I talk way too much, especially during the fights. There are 2 angles to this, right? I can be the play-by-play commentator, or I can be the one that gives, more insight on what's actually happening, the thought process. Maybe I can try to do a bit of both, which is what I'm trying to. Do you want to see more metrics, maybe more graphs, more explanation for things? Ooh, also let me know who you want to see next on DPS Showdown. I plan on at least giving every character a chance. Also, I did pull for E1 S1 Huohuo. I made a bet with Twitch chat and I lost, so rip wallet. But yeah, I definitely don't regret pulling it though. She's very strong even at E0. And finally, our DPS Pela. Realistic, I guess, because it's speed, ER boots, ER rope. But that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I hope you enjoyed. I plan on doing more of these. And yeah, they're really fun to do. They do take a bit of time, but I think it's worth it. Anyway, I will see you next time.